And we're continuing our parenting chat this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Earlier, we spoke about the importance of sleep in a child's life and how it impacts their mental and also physical development. And we're continuing that conversation right now with our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush. Nikki, you're right. So we've established how important sleep is, when it comes to children, grown-ups as well. We touched on that as well. But should a child not get enough sleep? I mean, what are some of the negative things that we'll be starting to see, especially when it comes to maybe in schoolwork, academics?
So sleep is almost like water for the brain. We need to feed our brains with sleep. And what we're finding with children who are too tired is that their anxiety levels come up, and anxiety blocks learning. And so we sabotage the whole process of learning once again. If a child comes into the classroom and is tired, they can't concentrate on what the teacher's doing. So if a child is continually tired or continually anxious, you can get gaps in learning. And that's no good for a child's self-confidence, self-esteem. And then I often get busy parents today saying, I can't get my child to sleep at night. And often what's happening with young children, because we're all working and many parents are having to leave their children in aftercare until, say, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, they're picking their children up at 6 and say it's a 3-year-old. That 3-year-old is almost ready for bed, but you still got to go home, feed them, have quality time with them, bath them, put them to bed. That child, and this is what I'm hearing more and more, these toddlers are being put to bed at 8 at night. They're beyond tired. And when they haven't had an afternoon nap, it's even worse. And then we get into this vicious cycle of overtired children not being able to self-regulate and put themselves back to sleep, or even put themselves to sleep initially by themselves, because they're so out of whack and so out of sync that the whole regulatory system is up the creek.
Wow, you know what, so then I feel actually bad, because sometimes I feel guilty because I bath time in my house, it starts from 6:30. And sometimes I feel like it's way too early, according to what my thinking would be. But I mean, in actual fact, that is just the perfect time, in bed just by 7, just after 7 o'clock to get a good night's sleep, which is good.
You see, we should technically be following our circadian rhythms, and those go with the sunlight. So when the sun is going down, and I know in Cape Town this is quite hard.
This is the problem in Cape Town.
When the sun goes down, or we should be winding down, and when the sun comes up, we should be waking up. Obviously, you need to, customize it for where you live.
That's why I have these blinds, lockout lights, because otherwise kids are going to get to bed at 10 o'clock only. But let's say you've established a good sleep routine. Kids are getting enough sleep. And what are some of the benefits? Are we talking about, things like problem solving, being creative and thinking?
That's right. So creativity, problem solving, when you've got more energy in your brain, it can fire better. So information is flowing smoother, and that information can also be stored better in the long-term memory. And what we need to remember about the brain is it also does this thing called pruning. And whatever information pathways have not been well used enough, it starts to prune away. So that generally starts happening at around the age of 12, 13, when children go into puberty. And we need to make sure their brains are wired well enough by then, so that essential information pathways are not lost through that chemical hormonal pruning that takes place.
Man, that's incredible. So quality of sleep, good quality of sleep equals good brain health.
That's right.
Basically, that's what it translates into. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Great topic, all about sleep and why it is so important for your children to get to that X amount of sleep that they need. So make sure that you focus on that and get your kids to bed early.